Hi guys, welcome to the Oasis Healing Temple. Hope you are all doing well today. We are going to be doing an Akashic record reading today. So we're going to see what information that you may need to know at this current time that you're tuning into this, what can help you move forward, just any key information that you may need to know at the time that you're tuning into this reading. For pile number 1, we have, I think it says Amuwata. That is the name of this beautiful being on this card. And that is with the number 5. For pile number 2, we have this card with Abuela Medicina. And that is with the number 3. For pile number 4, we have this card with the Diri, and that is with the number 1. Alright, pause the video if you need more time to meditate. The timestamps will be located in the description box below, and I'll see you all at your readings. Welcome to your Akashic reading pile number 1. So you guys were drawn to Amuwata, which is the sage of higher knowledge. So I feel like for you right now, you are being asked to follow your heart and listen to your intuition, to be guided by your intuition. You are shifting from looking outside of yourself and learning to trust your own instincts, trust your own inner wisdom, your higher knowledge, the experiences that you have been through. I feel like you're no longer taking someone's word for it, and you're learning to look deeper, to go within and see the meaning behind the words, to be more observant, more discerning on who you trust, discerning on your own personal truth, learning to trust your own inner knowing, listening to your guides, your heart, your higher self. You're able to see, learning to trust what you see, what you feel. We have the changes of the moon here, so I definitely feel like there is a need to shift your focus from looking outside for the information and learning to go within to find the information that you're seeking, to find the wisdom that you're learning. Beautiful activation. So I feel like, yeah, you're being activated with some higher learning, higher information. You may be receiving downloads, new codes, new ideas, new epiphanies, ways of seeing things. Oh, look at these colors. This is a beautiful heart. We have the heart, the throat, the solar plexus here, learning to trust yourself, to be more confident in what you know. If you may have had any kind of doubts, or maybe had people make you feel like, you know, you weren't very bright or very wise or knowledgeable, leave that in the past, because you have achieved a great deal of wisdom in your life and a higher understanding, higher perception about things. And I feel like, yeah, you're being asked to trust yourself more, trust what you know more, trust the guidance that you've been receiving more. We have this light coming in, so you're receiving downloads. This can be a new blueprint, a new way of being, a new phase of life that you're stepping into here, where you're going to feel more trusting of what you know versus the information that somebody else may be parroting to you, or they may be speaking about things that they may appear to know, but you yourself will know the difference between truth and manipulation, right? All right, let's see what your oracle cards have to say. I've already pulled those. Actually, I'm going to keep this in the center of your reading because this is your activation here. You're receiving a download of wisdom, higher knowing. All right, what do we have? We have star being healing codes. Nice. It says important information, wounds are healed, and recharging. Look at that. That's the energy that's coming in. You have healing information, important information coming in, important downloads. Healing any wounds of not feeling good enough, that you don't know something, or maybe you have doubted what your heart has been telling you, what your intuition has been telling you. Maybe you have had doubts about yourself, not knowing. But I feel like that's what's shifting. That's an old wound that's healing, and you're learning to trust yourself, to trust your internal guiding system. Yeah, you are helping Mother Gaia heal as well. You're here to help heal the earth, to restore the planet, and recharging. I feel like you're being asked to take some time right now to just rest and receive. And at the time that I'm doing this reading, we are about a week away from the solstice, the winter month. And that is such a great time. It's our natural cycle for us to take that time to kind of like, nest, to go within, to create that sacred space within, to recharge our batteries from the work that we've done all year. It's cold outside, nothing's growing, everything has retreated and gone within to restore, to replenish, to take that break from having to work and to do. And so right now, definitely take that time out to nurture yourself, to recharge your batteries, to spend some time going within it, and learning to trust what you sense, what you feel, what you know. Perhaps even start a journal, start writing some things down. And look, we have the Akashic Records coming through in this reading. That's awesome. Clearing old stories, releasing past lives, and freedom. Yeah. I hope y'all can't hear that. There's a little kitty cat fight outside. So some old wounds from the past. There could have been old disputes, old arguments, things that you are cleansing and releasing from the year that has just passed. Even clearing out old life cycles, old patterns. The work that we're doing now, some of this is like, they might not even be like our wounds, but they're generational, like our ancestors before us. This is some of their old energy, old wounds that we're clearing out as well. So, and you're freeing your bloodline, you're freeing your ancestors, you're freeing yourself from these old wounds, these old patterns that have been existent here on the planet for many, many cycles, many, many lifetimes and generations. Yeah, look at all these, the hieroglyphs and everything. I'm feeling the Egyptians coming through here. Some of you may resonate or relate with the Syrians. Releasing past lives. These are a lot of beautiful temples here. And the temples, they're for restoration and receiving more wisdom. So again, wisdom coming in. Ooh, you have the drum, dream and journey. Yeah, I feel the wheel coming through here with this one. The cycles changing, shifting cycles, moving on from the past, stepping into a new dawn here that's more balanced. Dream and journey. Exactly. During the winter time, think of the bears that hibernate. There's this internal reflection where we go within, where we retire from the physical world and we go into the dream life, right? It's going within, meditations coming through here, taking some time to meditate, practice that self-care, the self-love journey here. And in that self-care, make sure that you are scheduling time in for you to just be, to calm the mind, to rest the mind, to be in a flow state, be open and receptive, taking more time to just kind of be calm, to be still. When we pause, when we take that time away, that's when our energies, they open up to receive new energies, new information, new, it's also how we receive rest. Think about the nighttime when we are laying still, when our bodies are at rest, that's when our body recharges. That's what you need to do. Not necessarily sleep, but it's scheduling time to just rest the body, rest the mind, spending time in nature, not necessarily doing an activity, but just like, even going on a walk and clearing your mind, sitting out in nature, cloud gazing or bird watching, things like that bring you to a calm, restful space where you can be open and receptive to hearing, your guides, Mother Nature, even the animal kingdom speaking to you. You may receive a whole lot of information when you calm that mind, when you be in a receptive state. We have the Spirit Fox, trust your talents in changing times. Okay, so we have trust coming through. Trust what you know. Trust the information that you're going to be receiving from these downloads, from Mother Nature, from your guides, from your internal compass, from your heart. You're going to be receiving some information that you're meant to help ground and create and bring that healing into the earth for the people who are here on the earth. There may be some forgotten information, some forgotten wisdom, healing that this world needs right now, that our brothers and sisters need right now. You have a lot of wisdom, and you're being asked to trust what you know, trust your spiritual gifts, trust what you're here to do. All right, we have stop carrying what isn't yours. You've taken on emotions, guilt, and weight that were never yours. Give it back and be free. Okay, so this is about believing, taking on what other people say, what other people have been through. Maybe some of you feel like it is your mission to do the work for others, and that's the thing. We can't force people to hear things they're not ready to understand yet. Sometimes we get met with a pushback, and sometimes it's very negative and very angry when you tell people things that they're not ready to hear or see or can't really understand and process. You can't wake someone up from the dream before they're ready. They want to believe that they're illusions and believe the stories that they have created, because that's the world that their soul needs in order for them to learn and develop. Everybody has a path that we've chosen and laid out for ourselves, and we all must walk our path individually. We're not meant to carry everybody else's burdens. We're not meant to, it's not our job to wake everyone up. They have set their clocks to wake up when they were ready, when their soul is ready to begin that journey, and it's for them. All we can do is plant those little mustard seeds and share our gifts, so that in hopes that when people are ready, the message is there for them to pick up and receive. Ooh. I'm sorry, y'all, there's a little kitty cat fight now on the other side of my porch. Let me go just check real quick. Be right back. Okay. And I'll just give you an example, like for my channel, like when I was starting my channel, I was very nervous, very shy. I have a lot of wisdom that I have had since I was a young child. I very much saw the world differently and had, cleared and healed from a lot of my wounds. I'm still healing from different wounds, and sometimes you don't even know there's one there until your soul's ready to process it. And in the beginning of creating this channel, I don't know how to use a lot of these technology things, and I was very shy, so my voice was very low and soft, and I wasn't sure of myself and my abilities yet, but my guides keep telling me to keep putting it out there, to keep doing that, the people who are meant to find these messages, and that's always been my prayer before I start these readings, is that those souls who need to hear these messages, may they find my channel when they're ready to receive them. And so I just follow my faith. I followed the guidance that I'm giving, that I use my talents and my gifts and what I'm here to voice and share, and communicate the way that Spirit communicates to me and the messages that I'm given to share. I just follow my passion, my purpose, and my intuition. And so here I am each day that I can come out here and record. I share what information comes through, what the energies say, and I communicate what I am meant to share with those in hopes that they find these messages when they're ready to receive them. So it's about trusting your intuition, trusting your guidance, healing those wounds that make you feel like you're not good enough, or that you don't have enough skill, or that you have to be perfect, or any of those wounds that come from somewhere in the past, that we made our story, that made our truth. We heal from those and we clear those out, and then we empower ourselves with the truth that enables us to do what we came here to do, to create what we came here to help create. And just know that we're doing what's in our soul contracts and our Akashic Records to do. All right, we have embrace soul transformation. Transformation isn't easy, but it's necessary. Embrace the changes that lead you to your highest self. So I love how we have, the butterfly in the cocoon here, right? So the process of transformation, it isn't easy. We have to go within. We have to understand the stories that we created, the belief systems that we created through our experiences. There was a narrative, there was a feeling, there was an emotion attached to our belief that is creating the life that we're living each day. And our wounds from the past, if they're not understood, if they're not healed, if they're not transformed, they can control our present and prevent us from leading the life that we are meant to do, from acting on our soul gifts and our higher knowledge and our higher wisdom, because there's something that we're holding on to that needs to be released, that we need to free ourselves from. And so when we take that time to go within, to listen, to calm the mind, to question, to see what comes to the surface, and then question, acknowledge, and go deeper. It's getting to know yourself on a deeper level, versus just the surface, and trusting the mask of what's being presented to us. There's energies behind energies, and it's following that thread so that we have deeper wisdom, deeper understanding, because there's always more to learn, more to know. And the more we get to know ourselves on a deeper level, it's amazing the connection that you find to everything around you. It's all in your heart, It's not out there in the physical world. It's all within. And that's how we create the change. That's how we create the transformation, is by going within, taking our vision, our awareness, our focus, and shifting it to our internal world, and then creating from the internal, which then is reflected in the world around us, in the physical realm. So everything begins within. And then eventually we come out of that cocoon, and usually around springtime when the lights were born. Technically it's reborn on the solstice, but it is the winter time, so it's resting in that newborn light. And then when the spring comes, then there's this a higher activation of the light, which then starts stirring action and activity. And so we need that masculine energy then to propel us forward, to burst out of our cocoon. And that's why there's a lot of newborn babies, especially in nature kingdom, all the foals and the baby goats and pigs and stuff like that, everything has been hibernating and, you know, and cuddling up all winter. And then come spring, that's when the rebirth takes place. And so I feel like for this winter, it's taking the time out to go within to clear out any old wounds that may be preventing you from realizing how wise and knowledgeable you are, and trusting the wisdom that you have, and sharing your gifts and your talents with others, and freeing yourself from that, so that by springtime you will be fully transformed and fully awakened to who you truly are. We have Mercury with messages. Okay, so I feel like, yeah, you are a messenger. You are meant to share your wisdom. This is also the caduceus staff here. Healing, higher healing, the blending of the masculine and feminine energy, unity, consciousness here. We have card number 20. That is a 2. Partnership, harmony, balance. Beautiful. I love that coming through again. You know, love, partnership, having that healthy relationship with yourself, with your intuition. Also, we have 12, which is a 3. You know, communication, the Trinity, mind, body, and spirit, and the expression of that. It's also a representative of cycles, you know. Joy. What else? And we have Taurus, another 2, cultivate. Yep. So right now you're like, it's tending to the soil, right? So, and spring is when we plant, but in the winter time is when we're nurturing the soil. We amend the soil. We add the proper nutrients. What does the soil need? What has it been depleted of throughout the year? You know, it needs time to rest. It needs time to just resettle for the what has decomposed to reintegrate back into the soil. Pretty much, what are you leaving behind? What can you let go of? What's no longer serving you going forward? And we're going to cut the cords to that energy, to those old ways, and we're going to cleanse and purify that. And then we're going to plant new seeds. So if there was any weeds still growing, anything that's old in the garden, you know, old belief system, old wounds, we're going to go in and we're going to pull those weeds out because they're no longer of use. And we're going to ponder, we're going to decide, what is our new belief system? What is the future I want to create for myself, you know, or how do I see myself living? Do I truly believe that my talents aren't good enough? Do I not believe in myself? Where does that come from? Why do I doubt myself? Why do I doubt my abilities? You know, where have I heard that I'm not good enough because this is what needs to change? Is this my voice? Did I say this to myself? Is this my belief? Or did something happen in the past where somebody made me feel like I needed to, you know, that I wasn't good enough, and so I believed it, and now I'm afraid to fully express myself or to trust what I know, you know, and understand, going in and healing those wounds and moving on from that situation and learning to have a stronger connection with yourself, a stronger connection to your intuition, and trusting what you're receiving, trusting that guidance, and cultivating a healthy, loving relationship with yourself and with your intuition so that you can receive more. Because what happens is when you start to doubt it, you almost block it off, right? Because you're like, the connection gets fuzzy, it's not clear. And you have to fine-tune the energy by learning to trust into it, leaning into it more, opening up to receive it more. And so this winter, you're going to be learning how to do that, releasing anything that's no longer serving you, and then opening, deciding, discerning what is your truth, you know, and really anchoring and stabilizing connection to that, to your intuition. This is a whole new version of yourself, a whole new connection that you're reestablishing with your internal guiding system. All right, we have decisions to contemplate, 2 paths. But see, I feel like this is the choice, right? And again, I feel like this is a 2. So we have 2, 2, 2. That is, stop worrying. Everything's working out the way it's supposed to. Trust that you're on the right path. Trust that you're meant to do this. Trust in your talents and your gifts. Trust that you're meant to communicate this. It's written in the Akashic Records. This is your path. This is your journey. We have wish fulfillment, success, achievements, and a happy outcome. When you learn to trust yourself, you're going to find that manifestation comes easier. The more you trust your intuition, you'll start getting louder. It'll start getting very fine-tuned where the information will just come in and you'll be like, whoa, I don't even know how I know this. I just know this. I feel it. Some of you definitely tapping into that clear cognizance, that internal knowing. Clairvoyance is seeing, but I feel more of a clear cognizance coming through here. And we have the masculine energy with yang. Logical, confident, assertive. The wound of controlling, aggressive, egoic. I'm not feeling the lower aspects. I feel more of the having more confidence in yourself, confidence in your abilities. Being more confident, period. All right, and your final oracle card is Saga and Sheila Shagden. This is from the Dragon Rider Oracle deck, and it says, drink from the holy water of wisdom, and from now on, follow the way of self-awareness. Be like water, flow freely and unhindered along your life path. That's beautiful. And she's holding these cups, you know, it's opening the vessel up to receive, okay? And that's what you're being asked to do, is to trust in the divine flow, trust the information that you're receiving, trust where you are being guided, trust your intuition, allow yourself to become more self-aware, learning more about yourself, trusting in your abilities and your gifts. Trust that you have a purpose that involves communicating your wisdom with the world. Woo! That is beautiful. All right, let me get you one final message, maybe. All right, let's get one of these just to close out your reading, this card. All right, it says release. I stop fighting my fears and the hardships of life. I control my thoughts. I live in the present moment and accept each stage of life. I work on what I have power over, and I put into God's hands what I cannot change. I trust that everything will work out for the best. See, and this is about complete surrender here, releasing what you can't control, releasing the need to do the work for others or try to, awaken them, because we have, a lot of star seeds. We feel like it is definitely our mission to help the planet, and sometimes we feel like we gotta wake up as many souls as we can, but sometimes it can become too aggressive and forceful, and sometimes we try to combat. It can be sometimes combative. I'm not saying that this is you at all, but sometimes it can come off in a way that pushes people away or turns people off, and I've experienced this myself. I have learned this, that sometimes people, they just want to believe what they want to believe. They want to wear the rose-colored glasses, and they don't want to see things in that light yet. You know what I mean? They're not ready. They're too scared to change. They're too scared to move forward. They are in that comfort zone, and they want to stay there until their soul starts pushing them out of the baby nest, right? The bird out of the nest. Their guides, their inner compass will all of a sudden start sounding off, and something will happen in their life to propel them forward on the path, because that's the way it works. You can't stay stagnant forever. Everything's always moving and growing on the journey. And so no matter how much we don't perceive any change or any growth, there's things happening behind the scenes that we don't understand and that we don't know yet. And so we have to surrender to the divine, to source, to the creator, to God, and knowing that there is a plan for everything and everyone, and that it's not up to us to do that work. It's not our burden to save everyone else, okay? We can do as much as we can. We can put out little hints or those little mustard seeds, or when they come and ask for advice, you can offer your advice but not tell them what to do, because that turns them off as well. You just give them advice and be like, ooh, and compassion and understanding and empathy, and but they have to learn on their own. You can't take the tests for them. You can't pass the grade for them, because they have to collect tools that they need on the journey, so that they learn to trust themselves, so that they gain experience, so that they gain the wisdom, or else they have to repeat it, that class, they have to repeat that exam, they have to take it all over again, because they didn't learn the lesson, and they have to learn the lesson. It's recorded in the Akashic Records, right? Everything we do, everything we experience. And we have to experience everything in order to gain that soul wisdom, to gain that connection that you already have within. They need to learn these lessons in order to have those tools, okay? Everything is acknowledged in the Akashic Records here, and it is stored in our hearts, in our soul's blueprint. So we surrender and we allow them to walk their path, but we can still say a prayer. We can still ask for support, and sending them love and healing, and pray for other souls to awaken, to help heal the planet, to heal the human collective. So just do your best. But right now you are reestablishing a stronger connection with yourself, with your soul wisdom and your path, and you're being asked to open up and receive and to cultivate that, put that here, cultivate that strong connection to your own intuition, and being confident in sharing your gifts, sharing your wisdom with the world, pile number 1. All right, you guys, that was your reading from the Akashic Record. I hope this information helps shed light, love, and clarity on your situation, on your journey going forward. Thank you all for being here in the temple with me today. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Comment below if you feel like sharing your story, or let me know that this reading resonated with you. I'm sending y'all lots of love. Y'all take care and have a blessed day. Welcome to your Akashic reading, pile number 2. So you guys were drawn to the Abuela Medicina, and it says Remedy of the Grandmothers. So for you guys, you are about to be blessed with some healing, and I feel like you are also yourself a healer. So you're being asked to explore the different modalities of healing that resonates with you. Some of you may resonate as a shaman, as a medicine woman, working with the nature spirits, animals, the plant kingdom, even gemstones, natural remedies, that type of healing energy. Sorry, I'm losing my words here. But yes, something to do with nature, and it's something that comes from your ancestors. This is generational wisdom that is being gifted to you, that you have. It's a talent that you have, whether you are just tapping into it, if you're unaware of it. This is something that is awakening within you now. You're being asked to go on this healing journey, a healing quest, to get to know yourself a little deeper. This can be physical healing as well as spiritual healing. Healing of the mind, body, and spirit, the whole gambit of healing here. Because what we do to the physical body, what we do to the mental body, they all intertwine and affect one another. So our spiritual beliefs also affect our emotional body and our mental body, which then trickles down into the physical. So they all work in harmony with one another. They all affect each other. There's a deeper connection to everything. And so with this card coming out, this is an exploration of healing. So something that you're meant to heal within. And it's also something that you will become a master of. You will understand the modality of how healing works on the different planes of existence. Okay, let's put this here. Let me make sure you guys can stay on the screen. Number 3 is also about the Trinity, the mind, body, soul connection, you know, the way that we express ourselves and how they communicate with one another. Because we all have these different layers to our body, you know, it's our aura, and our physical vessel has an energy field that surrounds it. Just think of when you are, you know, you ever enter into a room after someone's had an argument and you can kind of feel the heaviness in the air, because our aura extends past our physical body, and so we pick up on the subtle energies, the subtle vibrations in the environment that's around us, and it is part of our body. We all have this magnetic sphere that surrounds us all. And depending on our personal frequency, our personal vibration, that is whether we get along with someone or not. Like our fields connect, and sometimes different frequencies, they contract and they repel. They don't like each other, just like a magnet. And other energies, they vibe well. You know, the energies are cohesive, they resonate, they vibe well, you know. And it's because of their particular vibration. And so I feel like you're going to be picking up on subtle energies and learning to trust your intuition, trust the signs, trust what your instincts are telling you, trust what the environment's telling you. It's becoming more subtle to the energies that are around us every single day, and the messages that they communicate to us. Beautiful. Woo, I'm excited. Okay, you have a stellar gateway activation, infinite potential, manifestation vortex. Ooh, look at this. Definite connection to I just wanted to say the Mayans. So the Mayans are coming through right here. The Egyptians are also coming through. We have Thoth here as well. So you're going on a spiritual journey here, where you're going to be receiving a lot of wisdom, a lot of downloads, feeling definitely very connected to Mother Nature, to your higher self, to your ancestors coming through, your roots. Manifestation vortex, that's beautiful. So wonder as well, there's this potential to heal something so that you can create something in your world. So there's healing that needs to take place so that you can manifest something here. Manifest some potential, some spiritual gift. There may be something you've been wanting to manifest, but some healing needs to take place. There may be a little bit of doubt or something that's blocking or preventing you from manifesting. And we have the inner earth. Ooh, I was feeling grounding energy. We have the base chakra, strength and security, laying foundations. Okay, so you are a channel for healing here. We have this strong connection to the cosmos, and we have this strong connection to Mother Gaia. This is the roots right here. Okay, this is the connection to your ancestors, your base chakra, your the lower chakras here, your foundations, your roots, where you feel strong, where you feel secure. And it's creating that sacred space within as well, having that strong connection to yourself, to your ancestors, and being able to ground in these higher vibrational energies so that you can understand them, decipher them, deliver them, express them, to offer that healing. So if you don't know, you have a strong connection to the spiritual realms and the physical realm, and you are a bridge, a channel for those two. And you're meant to offer healing to others. Oh, we have guardian angel. You are not alone. Nice. Your spirit guides, your ancestors coming through here. Look at this. We have the 3 coming through here again. The Trinity. The sun, the moon, and the stars. Mother, Father, Spirit. That beautiful harmony and balance. And you have the spirit box. This came through in pile number 1. Trust your talents in changing times. Okay, you're being asked to trust in your gifts, to trust in your healing gifts. You are not alone. Your guides, your ancestors, they're all with you and supporting you on the journey here. We have change with Uranus. Yeah, Uranus is like the great awakener. You know, it brings a lot of shifts, a lot of radical change. We have changing times here, so some things it's time for change. It's time for healing. And we have Saturn. Yeah, it's time to change those old programs, those old beliefs, the old structures. Saturn is he's like Father Time here, the keeper of time, keeper of cycles, keeper of routines, the structure, the foundations. They're like the rules that we build society on, those kinds of things. And it's time for those shifts. It's time for the Great Awakening to take place. And you are here to bring and restore healing here, to restore balance. That's part of your talents, your gifts. And we have Pluto with rebirth. Nice. Exactly. It's time for change. It's time for things to shift. Pluto is, anytime Pluto moves from one sign to another, it is like major shifts that take place in the physical world with the whole collective, with the human race, you know. And Pluto has finally shifted into Aquarius. I believe it will return. It went retrograde back into Pisces, and it will be moving forward. I believe it was February. Don't quote me on this, but I believe it will finally enter into Aquarius, where it will remain, you know, for more generations to come, you know, because this is a generational planet. It takes years. I mean, I want to say maybe hundreds of years before for Pluto to shift signs. So where it has been in Pisces, the savior of the zodiac, we are now moving into the Aquarius of brotherhood and sisterhood, and you know, the golden age is said to appear in the age of Aquarius. So that's beautiful. You are here to help aid in the rebirth of the planet, of the collective. And we have unbind inner chains. Your soul's ready to be free. Let go of self-imposed limitations and step into your power. Nice. Okay. So in your healing quest, on your healing journey, you too are meant to free yourself from these old beliefs, old wounds, old patterns, old routines, even the things that limit you, that make you doubt your gifts, to make you doubt your wisdom or your ability to heal. or make you doubt your gift, your connection to your guides, to Mother Gaia. Okay. We have love without self-abandonment. Real love doesn't ask you to disappear. Stay present, stay whole, and still be loved. Ooh, that's beautiful. Okay, so some of you, this has to do with an abandonment wound. And what is, I've had this one as well. What is sad is that, when we experience, not feeling supported, especially when we're going through, big hardships and pain, and feeling that nobody has your back or nobody cares about your pain, and we end up finding some way to, get through the situation, and we created some story, we told ourselves something to get through that moment, and then later on in our future, as we get older, something may trigger that memory to come to surface, and we end up, shifting our thoughts, shifting, navigating away from feeling that pain again, or getting into the memory of it. We end up kind of like doing the thing that broke our hearts in the first place, ignoring our pain, ignoring how we felt, nobody being there. We end up abandoning ourselves to feeling that emotion over and over and over again. And when we learn that the way that we heal is to allow ourselves to feel that emotion in order to free ourselves from experiencing it over and over again, we actually face it, and then we ask it, what does it want me to know? What is where you come from? When we face our fear and ask it questions, why are you still here? What do I need to let go of? And letting go isn't just, that means that you go, okay, I'm going to just let this go and get over it. It's not that. It's, if you were heartbroken in that moment, if you were sad in that moment, you were angry, that's what needs to be expressed. It needs to be understood and felt. And so in order to let it go, we have to feel it again. We have to allow the energy to move through us. And we need to then become the observer of the experience, and then insert the voice that we needed to hear in the moment to comfort ourselves. I'm so sorry that this happened to you. You are completely valid and feeling upset and heartbroken or angry. Anybody else would. There's nothing wrong in feeling that way. And I love you. I'm so sorry you had to go through that. It's going to be okay, and I'm never going to let that happen again. And it's becoming your own best friend, and establishing that balance within, that connection within, learning yourself, loving yourself, having more self-awareness to where they come from, so that you can change the belief system, the structures within, the patterns, the stories that we created, and become more aware and awakened to the stories that we've created for ourselves about the situation, and how we may have then prevented ourselves from having that stronger connection to our own wisdom, and trusting ourselves, because we have, ignored ourselves in the past. We end up ignoring our inner child that's in there and wounded and heartbroken. And so then when we start connecting back to that version of ourselves, there has to be a level of trust that starts to develop, where your inner child starts learning to trust you, the future version of yourself, the present you. Your inner child starts learning to trust your wisdom and trust that you are there, and that you are supporting them, and that they can lean on you for support, and that you won't ignore how they feel, that you'll take their feelings into consideration and validate them, but you don't let them run away with control. You know what I mean? Like when they're angry and upset, you don't just allow yourself to be reactive. You try to understand, okay, well, why does this make me so upset? Why am I so mad? And you get to the core feeling. What is the true feeling, the true belief that I have about this situation? And you discern if it's something that's coming from the past, and that's why the energy feels like it's over the top, and it's just an old wound that's coming through and wanting to be expressed through this experience that has triggered me. Or, you know, is there a way that we can handle this in a way that's more diplomatic and more where I communicate my needs and my feelings in a way that's not combative or destructive or accusatory? You know, it's learning to vocalize and express ourselves where our needs end up getting met because we are communicating them clearly. And the people that we're communicating them to are people that we can trust, you know, and that care about how we feel. They care if they hurt our feelings, you know, they have absolute love for us, and you know, want to build those healthy relationships. But we learn to discern that as we get older. And then, you know, it's learning to love yourself, essentially. And that brings so much healing, because you have this strong connection that you've developed within your own self, which enables you to then trust and lean into your ability to receive and be open to receiving your own healing. You know, that comes, it's generational healing. So the work that you do for yourself, it will also heal your ancestral wounds, you know, and I feel like they are there supporting you. That's why they came through in this reading, because the love that you show yourself and the attention that you give to your wounds, these are the same wounds that your ancestors had, you know, and they, each time one of us incarnates into this bloodline, each one of us takes on, you know, all souls take on a certain level of darkness, of the burden, of the wounds, of the karma, and we all try to alchemize it and transform it and heal it. And so each of us is always working at freeing ourselves from having to incarnate and transmute and alchemize the heavy, dark energies. You know, we descend through the lower emotions and we ascend through the higher emotions. And so the lower emotions are, you know, pain, anger, rage, resentment, guilt, shame, you know, things like that, jealousy. And then the higher emotions are love, compassion, understanding, you know, friendship, truth, strength, all of those things. You know, I'm not even sure if strength is an emotion, but I mean, we definitely feel it, you know. So those are the energies, the emotions that we need in order to heal and to overcome and transcend those lower dense emotions, vibrations. And so the more we shine a light, the more attention we give to those parts of us that are still left in the shadows and the darkness and in the past and our youth of unhealed wounds, we journey backwards in time, and we sit with ourselves. We sit with that version of ourselves to bring comfort, to bring acknowledgement of what they were experiencing and validating that this was their truth, this was their experience, and they felt alone, they felt abandoned. And then you can offer your courage, your support, your validation, you know, and comforting yourself and saying, I'm so sorry, you know, and I love you, and it's going to be okay. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to acknowledge your pain, because I feel like nobody did, and even I myself have ran away from feeling it because it's painful, right? And we end up doing to ourselves what we are so heartbroken about others doing. We end up doing it as well, and it becomes that pattern that develops, and it's a cycle that we're stuck in. We have no awareness of it until we finally do have the awareness of it. And so your ancestors will be rallying for you, because you will be freeing them from these chains, from having to again have another soul come into this life and carry these wounds and keep perpetuating that lower energy, whereas they've been waiting for a soul who has enough courage and enough strength to finally face themselves and communicate and develop that strong relationship with that version of them. And then you end up becoming like your own best friend. There's this beautiful connection that you've now established within, to the inner worlds, to your inner self. And then you ascend together. This is the version of you that was left behind, the separated version of you. You then walk together hand in hand forward on the journey. No soul left behind, right? So you're gathering soul fragments that were left behind in wounds, and you bring them forward by you offering your healing hand, your healing heart to that version of yourself. And that's what brings you into wholeness, into completion, okay? I hope this is making sense for you guys. We have external party situations, karmic partner and friends, family, work, other people, and obligations. Okay, yeah, that was, I already mentioned that. This has to do with, you know, karmic wounds, ancestors, the energies that we are here to help transmute. And you are here to help bring that healing to your ancestors, to your bloodline, to your roots. We have the Ace of Fire with passion, new starts, attraction, creation, desire, new venture, and action. So the Ace of Fire, this is the Ace of Wands. So this is a whole new beginning. And I also feel Archangel Michael coming through here, wielding the sword of truth to help you cut the cords, to free yourself from these chains, from the karma, from the lower vibrations, from the old wounds of the past. You're here to break yourself free and to transform and alchemize those energies. And an alchemization is taking one form of creation and transforming it into another. And so, and it's using the duality, using the contrast of opposites, right? So if we have pain and we have sadness, we want to transform them and bring more love and bring more compassion into that cup. So if you're the vessel, you have the cup, and you have, you know, pain and anger, you want to shower that pain and anger with love and compassion and understanding, so that you can alchemize it and transform it. And the more love you shine on it, the more compassion and empathy you shine on it, the brighter and lighter it gets, and it's no longer this heavy burden and pain that you're carrying that's holding you down. It becomes enlightened because you have shown your light and your love onto the situation, and it brings it to the surface to be healed, to be transformed. All right, this is from the Dragon Rider deck, and you have Star, I'm a Star. Oh, that's beautiful. And Diamond. And it says, I'm a star has spoken. Come to me in the temple of eternal purity. Let me fill your view of the future with a rosy light. That is beautiful. See, and for this, I feel like this is restoring the innocence to your inner child here. The purification process, right? Purifying the wounds, the karma, the heaviness, and becoming purified, cleansed by the fire here. Working with the violet flame is also very beneficial for you. And you have card number 11. This is about awakening, enlightenment, trusting your intuition and a higher purpose. Healing the inner child here. All right, that is the spiritual journey that you're meant to go on. And we have Mother Earth and Vita. I mean, look at that. That's beautiful. All things are interconnected. Feel the deep peace and the sense of connection that results from this knowledge. And we have card 32, which is a 5. This is about great change, you know. And another, this is a fire dragon. And the dragons, they're helping to cleanse and purify the ley lines on the earth. They're able to descend to the lowest, heaviest densities, you know, the lowest vibrational energies, and they bring this purifying fire that cleanses, this alchemizing fire that burns the old away and purifies it so that it can be renewed and something fresh can be reborn, be seeded into the soil here. And so you have Mother Earth. These are the bounty, you know, and we harvest from the work that we have done each year. And so I feel like the work that you will be doing, you will be receiving a lot of spiritual gifts, a lot of spiritual awareness from the work that you do, which will help you moving forward to become a healer for others, you know, not in the sense that it's not your job to go around healing everybody or anything like that. It's that people will see the healing work that you've done on yourself, and they will admire it, and they may come to you, they may seek you for your wisdom, for your guidance, and any tools that you can offer them to help them, any of your gifts and your talents. People may seek you out for your gifts and your talents to help them establish that strength and that stronger connection and healing to their own inner child. Beautiful reading, pile number 2. Okay, let's get you a few more cards. Let's get you actually one more card to close out your reading from your Akashic Records. Pile number, you know, and this is another thing, because the guardian angel card's speaking to me. When we take that time to address our inner child's needs or wounds and everything like that, like, and this is pretty neat, like when you think back to when you were that child, you know, there was a voice in your mind, and there may have been one that was soothing you and trying to comfort you, that came from a place within, you know, and then as you get older, it's not like the wound went away, you know, it just, the younger version of you didn't have the emotional tools to handle the situation, right? And so that's why the wound is still there. But the older version of you, who's going in to heal, to go gather, you know, to go help that younger version of yourself, you are the voice that you heard in your youth, you know? This higher version of you, like the guardian angel of the younger version of you, you are that person. You are that guardian angel. And you're coming back to set those intentions, to remind yourself that you are loved, to show yourself the truth, that you're not alone, and that you are very much needed and wanted and appreciated and valued. You know, when you can go, you get to be your own guardian angel in those moments, you know. And doing some of this healing work with my mother, she, when we were doing the shadow work and self-love journey and reconnecting and reestablishing her inner child connection, the words that she spoke to herself in those moments, she remembered hearing them as a little girl, and that's what got her through some of her situations, was that she had this voice always in her mind telling her, you know, that she was going to have these 4 beautiful children, and they were going to mean everything to her, and that she had a purpose and everything. And so she heard herself saying that to herself, and she had that memory come up for her. And I just thought that was so beautiful, and it was so affirming of what I already believed and knew within. So we are our own guardian angels to versions of ourselves in the past. So just keep that in mind and see if you have any of those epiphanies come in for you as well as you go on this healing journey. All right, pile number 2, your final message from your Akashic Records. We have balance. I find a balance between each sphere of my life. I am the master of my daily life. I make time to nourish the spiritual and the physical. Look at that, the spiritual and the physical. I bring love to my world by fulfilling the needs of my body and soul. Beautiful. Okay, so we had the body and soul coming through, the spiritual realm and the physical realm, and the balance. You are a channel, and you're meant to balance these energies. This spiritual version of yourself, the healer, but healing the physical body, bringing that physical, bringing that healing energy onto the physical plane, you know, taking what you spiritually know and then applying it, right? Not just holding the wisdom and having the wisdom, it's now applying the wisdom and actualizing it, physically doing the work here. So that is what you are about to embark on, pile number 2. A purifying, cleansing, healing journey is what is in the cards, in the records for you moving forward. All right, and who knows, maybe by springtime you will be born anew, you know, a new version of yourself will be coming online. Take the time out this winter to get in touch with yourself on a deeper level and free yourself from these old wounds that may be coming to the surface at this time. All right, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me in the temple today. Thank you for tuning into my channel. I appreciate all your love and support. Please like and subscribe. Comment below if you feel like sharing your story, or just let me know that pile number 2 resonated with you. I'm sending y'all lots of love. Y'all take care and have a blessed day. Welcome to your Akashic reading, pile number 3. So you guys were drawn to the Deary, and it says hearing truth. Okay, so for you guys, pile number 3, you're being asked to trust what you know, to trust what you feel, what you intuit. This is a great time to go within and to establish a strong connection with your guides, with your higher self, with spirit, with God, with the Creator, and trust your inner senses. You know, it's being able to feel and intuit the energies, intuit the messages that you're receiving, and trust what you are receiving. No longer needing outside validation or approval to the information that you hold within. And trusting that what you are hearing, what you are receiving is the truth. That you know the truth within. You feel it, you sense it, you have this strong connection. And it's becoming one with your higher self, one with Source Creator, one with all, with the number 1 coming up here. This is also new beginnings, a new cycle, stepping into a leadership role, becoming more independent to your inner world, your inner compass, versus anything outside of yourself. Learning to be more dependent on your truth, what you hear coming in from your guides. And I feel like you have this strong connection to your soul star chakra. Your higher self here. You already know. That's the thing. Like you know the truth. Trust what you know. Alright, let's see what your oracle cards have to say. Ooh, look, confirmation. We have the soul star activation. Fulfilling soul contracts. Remembering who you are. Ooh, I love that for you guys. I'm so happy to have this card come up. This is Horus. He is a guardian, I believe, over this gateway here. Tapping into your divine self, your higher self, remembering who you are. You're definitely activating that star. Some of you are entering into new contracts, new soul contracts. Some of you may be receiving new guides. We have ancestral realm coming through, karmic release, healing the lineage and boundaries. Ooh, beautiful. Ooh, look at the strong connection you have to the earth. Look at this portal here. This new beginning coming in for you. Yeah, you have you've done a lot of healing work on yourself, pile number 3, and that is being acknowledged. So you're stepping onto a new path, feeling more healed, more aligned, and connected to your higher self, to your guides, to Source Creator, to your intuition. Yeah, you've done a lot of healing work. You've healed a lot of ancestral wounds here. You've learned to set up those healthy boundaries. Look at the braid of light here, that strong connection with the masculine and feminine. You have a strong connection, heart and mind are in an alignment here as well, which is enabling you to receive new insight. New activations are coming in for you. I mean, it's I love all the mandalas that are on here, on this card right there. Okay, let's see, we have the White Witch. Nice. Be the light. How amazing is that? Look at that healing. The work that you're doing is for, of course, the betterment of all, but look at that wisdom that you hold, that strong connection to Mother Earth, Mother Gaia. Oh, there's a butterfly in her hair. Lots of transformative energies. Be the light. Yeah, you hold a lot of light within you. A strong connection to Mother Gaia. And we have the Shield Maiden, make plans and focus. Okay. Yeah, I feel like you're able to see the truth. You're able to cut the cords, to the, see past the illusions. You just have such a clarity of vision, and that's why you're being asked to trust what you feel, what you see. And there's something about manifestation coming through with you guys, to focusing on a vision that you have, something that you want to create in the world. Make plans. You are definitely seen as somebody who has a lot of wisdom. You're seen as somebody who has a lot of bright light. You have a strong sense of purpose, very strong individual. You have a lot of energy, a lot of discipline, but also a lot of grace, a lot of beauty. I feel like people are drawn to you. Pile on number 3. And we have Autumn, release the old and rest. Yeah, with the crow coming through, so you have the owl and the crow. You're able to see, see through the illusion, like I was saying. Releasing the old. Yeah, also again, releasing any old wounds, old karmic energies, the karmic bonds, the heaviness, the past. Release any fears that you may have about shining your light or sharing your truth, your wisdom. Release any fears that you have about not being good enough, because those can be blockages that prevent you from trusting what you intuit, what you perceive, what you feel, what you sense. And learning to trust, in your spiritual sight, in your spiritual gifts. Some of you are definitely a messenger. You're meant to share, you're meant to guide others. Yeah, so that's why you need to have this strong connection within, so that you can trust the messages that you're receiving, the information that's coming in, because you're meant to share it with others. Oh, look, and we have the sun coming through. I told you I thought you were a bright light. Some of you are definitely receiving downloads and activations from all of these solar flares. A lot of awakenings. That light is casting that shadow, and awakening aspects of ourselves that have been dormant for a long time. which is helping us to remember who we are. A lot of activations coming in for you, pile number 3. And we have symbiosis. Ooh, nice. That's all the energies meshing well, everything running smoothly for you, things coming together. So we have a 3 and a 1. I mentioned those in the beginning. Expansion, abundance. This is also a connection to the divine feminine and using those psychic senses to trust what you hear and what you perceive from your guides. And we have card 18, which is a 9. The end of an old cycle, the end of, an aspect of yourself. This can also be the end of a long journey and the wisdom that you have attained from doing the work, from facing your fears, from conquering your shadow, and all the wisdom that you have achieved from that experience. And then we have 52, a 7, spiritual insight. It's also a number of completion, and a deep spiritual connection here. And it's all these little birdies that are, gathering together on this wheel here. Strong connection to Mother Gaia coming through. Into your angels, your guides, your ancestors. We have release past wounds again. Old wounds hold your energy hostage. Let go of what no longer serves you and make space for healing. Look at that heart. Yeah, it's surrendering to these old wounds and giving them to source, and allowing yourself to heal, to become awakened to those wounds so that they can heal and move forward. And we have faced the consequences, your actions, a ripple beyond the moment. Stand in your truth and accept what follows and let it guide your growth. Release the past wounds and face the consequences. Stand in your truth. Okay, yeah. See, and that's the thing. When we go on a healing, when we're healing, we have to take responsibility for our actions and for our inactions. Because sometimes we can get stuck in that victim space, and we have, majority of us have been victim to betrayal and heartache and heartbreak, right? Where somebody hurt you, somebody wounded you, and it broke your heart. And you are a victim to that experience, right? But sometimes we can sit in that space and not realize that we have put ourselves in a victim role, and it takes our power away. Where those moments we felt powerless, and it could be because, at the time we were just so wounded that we couldn't even process what was happening to us. We couldn't even fathom that this individual, or that this could even happen, or and what do we do at this moment? And so as we get further along the journey, on the healing journey, and we look back to those old situations, sometimes there can be, we can still not have gotten over that experience, and still hurt and feeling betrayed by it. And again, it perpetuates that feeling of powerlessness. And this has happened to me as well. And when I realized how I was disempowering myself by still holding on to that pain, that heartache that I was caused, I saw how I was keeping myself a victim to the experience. And then, sometimes we have regret when we're like, man, I wish I would have stood up for myself. I wish I would have said this and this and this, when they were being so disrespectful, and I just gave them an excuse why it was okay to talk to me that way. And I should have just said, X, Y, and Z, and put them in their place so that they knew that they couldn't talk to me like that, and I was going to tolerate it, And of course, we can always look back and say, I wish I, shoulda, woulda, coulda kind of thing. But we learn from those experiences, we are always learning. And so now moving forward, you will have those tools to be able to better stand up for yourself and not to tolerate it. Like I feel like you will check it before it even gets to that place. You will immediately know that this isn't somebody I need to invest my energy and my heart into, because they don't care, you know, they don't have enough compassion and empathy or even awareness of how their words are very judgmental, or that their words are very you know, harsh and critical, and they just have no clue how they come off and come across, you know. But we can take responsibility for the inaction. Like in those moments we didn't respond with authority, we didn't set a healthy boundary for ourselves and say, you know, hey, like, I don't appreciate you talking to me like that. I don't deserve to have you yell at me. Or, you know, if you don't care about the way I feel, then I really don't want a relationship with you. You know, we can take responsibility for not having the courage to stand up for ourselves in those moments and say, going forward, I will, you know, and that's how we can take accountability for our inaction in the situation, you know, and that therefore we can empower ourselves going forward. And so we insert power where we felt there was no power, and we learn how to go forward feeling more confident in our ability to set those boundaries for ourselves. So, and those are, our wounds can be our guide to show us where we should act in those moments where we didn't act, and now we can make wiser choices going forward, right? All right, we have closed off and guarded, resistance, pride, defensive, wounded, warrior. Okay, so yeah, these are the wounds that need to be opened up and addressed and healed so that the light can shine in. So, there we go. Yep. It's opening ourselves up to healing and surrendering to those moments so that our heart can be open, so that we can be open, so that you can be open to heal, to receive, to tune in, to listen to truth, to listen to your guides, you know, and trust what you are receiving. Because sometimes we have this inner knowing, or we have this voice that's telling us that, and sometimes we just don't want to believe it. Like, yeah, right, you know, that's just wishful thinking. But that is your higher self trying to guide you, trying to help you heal, helping you see things from a different perspective, and to open up to healing, to shifting, so that you're not stuck in the past anywhere. We have kisses and love, unconditionally loving, giving and receiving, affirmations and affection. Yeah, and that can close us off. Like, our wounds can prevent us from receiving love, from receiving connection, from receiving that healing that we're looking for, that we need. And when we choose to face our fears and to acknowledge our wounds, and we offer that comfort that we were lacking in those moments, that's the healing elixir there. That's the healing that we need, is that comfort, that acknowledgement that what we went through is acknowledged and validated, and not just ignored and has no meaning. It has meaning. It's getting in there and understanding what the meaning is. You know, what was this experience teaching me? What was I learning? And learning to forgive those souls that we made contracts with, that chose to be a bad guy for us to teach us these hard lessons, because we are all one. We are all part of the divine, and before we come into this life, we make contracts with other beings, and some of them we've incarnated with these same beings over and over again, because we have karmic ties, karmic burdens and baggages that we need to heal and let go of and cleanse and purify, so we no longer have to keep reincarnating and fulfilling these contracts with these individuals where we hurt one another back and forth. You know, it's this tit for tat. Well, last incarnation, you know, I played the bad guy and I was teaching you these lessons, and, you know, this time you're the bad guy and you're teaching me these lessons. And so there's this energy exchange that goes back and forth until there's this final healing. There's this final acknowledgement of the wound and an understanding, and then the appreciation of, I know why you did this. And in the physical realm, we only see the actions and the hurt and the pain, but when we're in our spiritual selves, then we have all the answers. We're like, oh my gosh, I was so mad at you when you did this. You broke my heart and you made me so mad, and like, I didn't think I would ever forgive you. And there we're all brothers and sisters, but here, in the physical plane, we forget who we are, and we forget who we are to one another, and that we all agreed to do certain things and to meet up at certain times to give us sometimes pain, sometimes love, sometimes guidance, sometimes support, a friendship, sometimes an enemy, to teach us lessons. We learn through relationships. And so when you understand that, you can learn to forgive and trust that everything had a purpose and everything had a reason, and that you were learning from this experience, and it gave you the strongest gift, tool, lesson that made you the strongest person ever. It's like, think of the athletes when they have these coaches, and they have some that just ride them so hard, you know what I mean? And their goal is not to criticize them and shame them and put them down, although it comes off that way. It's pretty harsh in the way that they do that. But because there's positive reinforcement, and then there's this aggressive ass way. But sometimes those coaches that really push their students like that, or their athletes like that, they can be somebody that they look back on and say, because of you, I did this, and I became this because I pushed myself, and you pushed me beyond what I thought I was capable of, or it's the people that never give up on you, or that encourage you, and they see your potential, and so they keep trying to push you to be better. And sometimes not everybody does it in a good way. Or even we've all seen the movies and stuff like this. There's so much symbolism behind it, like the bully that gets bullied, and the kid that doesn't stand up for himself until he's a grown adult. He just keeps allowing himself to be pushed around until he finally takes his power back and stands up and says, I deserve this, I demand respect, and all that. And he takes his power back, and he stands up for himself, and then he can look to see where if he's, intuitive and really truly seeking and observant, he can see how that bully was showing him where he wasn't setting boundaries, where he wasn't loving himself, where he wasn't confident in himself. He was showing him the holes and the pitfalls that he wasn't seeing. And it's like they point out the flaws to us, and show us where we have a weakness, so that we can work on that and hone it and strengthen it, so that we can empower ourselves going forward. And that's kind of how we have to look at our experiences, especially our wounds. They show us our weaknesses, and that's the areas that we need to fine tune, that we need to shore up on and strengthen and master, so that we can become masters of those energies, right? So I hope this is helping you guys in some way. To learn where healing is being offered to you and is available to you, but you have to trust what you're hearing, trust the wisdom that's coming in for you, because you are a strong light. And sometimes we can get stuck in the pain, stuck in the past, and feeling like a victim, and we don't empower ourselves to stand up and take our power back away from these situations, away from these bullies, away from these people that didn't see our value and didn't see our worth, because we ourselves didn't see our worth and our value. And so then once we learn to empower ourselves, and we value ourselves, and we love ourselves, we set those healthy boundaries, we protect ourselves, and we say, no more tolerating this because I deserve better. We learn to trust in ourselves and believe in ourselves and develop that strong connection, and we end up remembering that we have the power to allow what happens to us through these individuals. We can either be passive and be allowing, or we can take responsibility and have courage and face our fears and stand up for ourselves and set those healthy boundaries, so that way nobody can do that to us again. You know, we're still open and receptive to having experiences with people, but we don't allow people to treat us like crap. You know. All right, let me see what else comes through. We have the Dragon Rider Oracle. We have Rosmerta and Abundance. So abundance and wealth are now flowing towards you. Prepare to be receptive at every level in order to receive all that awaits you. Look at that, coins coming in, gold. A lot of golden light coming in for you as well. So some form of abundance is coming in for you guys. And you're being asked to be open and receptive to receiving this abundance, and the sun coming out. Also a connection to abundance. And this can be because of the healing work that you're putting in to heal these old wounds, to love yourself, to heal these ancestral wounds even. And this is the abundance that's pouring in from doing that work, from facing those fears and those shadows, and shining your light. And so you are being acknowledged and recognized for that. And so I feel like, yeah, karmic blessings are about to come in. Your karmic rewards from releasing these karmic wounds. Spiritual gifts are being activated as well. All right, and your other dragon rider is Iduna, and Lazilu is the dragon. You are being tested to take the next step into a wonderful next phase of life. You must make significant changes in your attitudes and your beliefs, okay? So you know how I was saying there was something that you're manifesting. I feel like you're manifesting this abundance. You're wanting to bring more abundance into your life. But there is a belief or an attitude or something that needs the shifting. That's the healing that you're being asked, the releasing of the wounds, taking responsibility and action for these beliefs that you have, and releasing something that may be blocking or preventing you from receiving and accessing this manifestation, okay? I'm glad they tied that all in together for us at the end there. All right, let me get you one final message from your Akashic Records for pile number 3. Yeah, a lot of releasing, letting go of some old belief system, old blockages. You got some karmic rewards trying to come into you. Oop. And we have here and now. The future does not exist, and the phase of the past is gone. I focus on the present moment. I have confidence in life again, because here, now, there is no danger. Everything happens when my soul is ready. That's beautiful, because the more we let go of the past, the more our attention can be right here in the present moment, where we learn to listen, and we are more receptive. We're more open to hearing truth, to intuiting truth, to feeling, to how we feel, because we're no longer dictated by the past. The past doesn't come up and resurface because you've been facing the fears, you've been releasing these old wounds. There's no worries about the future, because you know that everything exists in the here and the now, in this now moment. Now is when we create. Now is how we, where we focus, where we channel to create the future that we are looking to see, by being more present in the here and now. And it's also, you're being asked to surrender, again, to surrender and release, let go of any kind of control, allow the abundance to just flow into your life, allow this manifestation to just flow towards you. Yeah, everything's going to just come together going forward, you guys, because you are healing, you're letting go, and you're learning to trust. And the more you can learn to trust and hear, listen to that inner guiding system, the more flow, the more abundance, the more opportunities, the more manifestations are just going to easily manifest for you guys. Woo. That's amazing. I'm so happy for you all. Congratulations. And you should be so proud of yourself for the work that you have done thus far, for the healing work that you've done, for your ancestors. I know they are so proud of you. And thank you all so much for being here on my channel and joining me in the temple today. I appreciate you all very much. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Comment below if this reading resonated with you, or just let me know that pile number 3 was your reading. I'm sending you all so much love. Y'all take care and have a blessed day.